Be mindful of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service, and water serves to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.
Hello and welcome to The Reporter, a news and current affairs program that goes beyond the headlines, bringing reporters from the field to give first-hand accounts and in-depth analysis of unfolding issues, correspondent perspectives, ensuring balanced, credible and comprehensive storytelling. Welcome once again. I am Anieti Patrick. It's good to have you join us on the program today. On this edition of the program, the national chairman of the Social Democratic Party, Sadiq Gombe, says the party is repositioning to provide Nigerians with a credible alternative and challenge the ruling party in the 2027 general elections. He made this known at the party's second National Executive Committee meeting of the 2026 in Abuja. Ubong Usor was there for Global TV.
National Chairman of the Social Democratic Party, Sadiq Gombe, says the party is rebuilding its structures, strengthening internal democracy, and uniting members across the country ahead of the 2027 general elections. He says the party remains focused on providing purposeful leadership and expanding its support base nationwide.
Towards deepening our democracy, towards strengthening rule of law and the independence of political parties as enshrined in our constitution, the Electoral Act, and the constitution of the respective political parties, the 22 political parties in Nigeria.
National Secretary of the party, Dr. Olu Agunloye, says the introduction of an electronic membership register will enhance transparency, strengthen internal administration, and improve the credibility of the party's membership database.
Talking about the structure, we have the zonal structure, and I'm proud to tell you that the zonal structure at the moment is good, well done, and then actually going to be more rejuvenated. In this period of the quarter, we also have the verification exercise, which is a procedure where all of us gather and the INEC come in to check everything that we do.
The National Executive Committee ratifies all decisions taken by the National Working Committee between March and July this year, and also approves appointments to fill vacant positions, endorses the harmonized membership register for submission to the Independent National Electoral Commission, and reaffirmed the implementation of the party's 2026 constitution adopted at the Bauchi Convention. It further ratifies statutory meetings of party organs and communication with INEC on notices, nomination, and other parties' resolutions. Ubong Usoro, Global TV News.
Well, joining me right now in the studio is Ubong Usoro, of course, to bring us up to speed on what he sees like, because, of course, they say they want an alternative for Nigerians. Hello, Ubong.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you join me. Let's look at the alternative that is being provided right now by the SDP. With these preparations for 2027 approaching, can the SDP really emerge as a capable and challenging alternative for Nigerians?
Well, I think the SDP, you cannot say the SDP is not a popular party.
Of course.
It's one of the most popular party in Nigeria. And its history dates way back. During the military era, the SDP was the second political party that was created by Badamasi Babangida. Three of them were created. We had the PRP, we had the SDP, and we had the NRC. So the SDP has been a party that has been, and during the 1993 general elections, we saw that the competition was really with the SDP. We had MK Abiola, he was able to pick the ticket of the SDP. And people that contested in that primaries included people like Atiku Abubakar, that we know, and we had Bashir Tafa. So it was a highly contested election, and records show it. In fact, the Nigerian government have now agreed officially, that MK Abiola won the June 12 election in 1993. So, and that was under the platform of the SDP, right? And the party was deregistered at the time when the military closed down all political parties in Nigeria by Abacha. Right, but it was also one of the first parties that were registered again in 1998 when the political parties were registered. But from 1998, they haven't really had that kind of, massive followership that they had. But even people like Bola Tinubu that were primarily a member of the SDP at the time went to the AD and people left the party. But you've seen that over time, they've had senators. There's been no election cycle. They don't produce a senator or a House of Rep member, So they've been, just on the sidelines as a political party that has provided alternative.
Okay, so I like the fact that you gave us history to understand where the platform stands. But just like you said, over time, they don't have the strength on membership. Just like each prominent name they follow moves, the party members also move alongside. But let's look at the reforms they're bringing now, the electronic membership register and stronger internal democracy being enough. Will that be a good platform enough to reposition the party and make it strong and viable to contest with the build up to 2027?
Yeah, I think the party is very formidable because one of the things that sells in parties are names, right? And the brand name SDP is easily recognized by people, right? So that works already for them. And like you said, some of the things they've brought in, voter verification of members, so they now know these are the members we have. It helps them to be able to work more, especially when you talk about structure formation, those we have. Then we talk about a verification of knowing what are the things we need and all of that. And all of those things are doing it now. So instead of coming to the office, to Abuja with papers, you can go online and follow their processes. And that's one of the things they're bringing in. And I think it's a good one, right? So we demystify this movement of everybody comes to Abuja, people can get things done. Talking about 2027, yes, the SDP is still offering some sort of alternative. Remember that when El Rufai, first went out of the APC, he went to the SDP at that point. So, right, it still offers some form of credibility. The only problem that the party has is that it still has some legal challenges.
That's what I was going to, because I'm looking at those legal challenges. I'm looking at what Nigerians will want to prioritize in terms of picking a stable platform of a platform that has qualities of leaders who will be able to stand the test of time with the build up to 2027 general election, of course.
Yeah, and it's very concerning because we see most of these parties that have stood the test of time, they are now going through legal challenges.
Every party is actually going through that.
The SDP. Just yesterday, I saw a text by Gabam that the Federal High Court has reinstated him. Right, Gabam is the former chairman that was there, but Sadiq also sent a text that the Supreme Court gave them. So conflicting judgments dragging for leadership position. That is where what is weakening the party. Okay. And if they cannot resolve that before election, it may not speak well for them.
All right, amazing. Let's leave it at this point, Ubong. Thank you for your time because we need to understand these things and how they actually trigger to giving an edge for Nigerians to have the best alternatives to look at. Thank you so much for your time, Ubong. Well, there you have it. Ubong, of course, has given us the updates and then choices and what we can do ahead of 2027. But still staying with 2027, as Nigeria prepares for the 2027 general elections, stakeholders have called for stronger institutions, youth empowerment, and collective action to tackle drug abuse and electoral violence. The stakeholders made the call at the 5th International Conference on Drug Abuse, Youth and Electoral Violence in Nigeria, held at the Faculty of Social Sciences, University of Abuja. Saadatu Garba was there for Global TV.
Growing concerns over drug abuse among Nigerian youths and its impact on electoral violence took center stage at the 5th International Conference. The conference, which focused on the pathways to credible and violence-free elections, brought together academics, security experts, policymakers, civil society organizations, and students to chart a way forward ahead of the 2027 general elections. Speaking during the event, The former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Atahiru Jega, addressed the persistent challenges of drug abuse and electoral violence in Nigeria. He emphasized that continuous public advocacy, coordinated efforts to reduce criminality, and meaningful electoral reforms are required to improve the integrity of election management.
Abuse and other substance abuses among the youth is a major contributing factor to all sorts of criminality and violent engagements in political and electoral processes. Indolence, joblessness, and unrestricted access to dangerous drugs are negatively impacting our young men and women in profoundly negative ways. In particular, desperate politicians who want to win elections by any means necessary recruit youth, provide them with arms and drugs, and use them to perpetrate violent acts against their opponents or to disrupt preparation and conduct of elections in areas where they feel disadvantaged.
Chairman of the occasion, Professor Aminu Ibrahim Gusau, emphasized that strong institutions, ethical leadership, responsible citizenship, and effective collaboration are fundamental to peaceful and credible elections. He noted that substance abuse impairs judgment and makes youths vulnerable to recruitment for political thuggery, organized crime, and other forms of electoral violence.
The theme of this conference, drug abuse, youth and electoral violence in Nigeria, pathways to credible and violence-free 2027 general election, is timely, relevant, and deserving of serious national reflection. It reminds us that credible elections are not secured merely by electoral laws or technology. They are built upon strong institutions, responsible citizenship, ethical political leadership, and an environment where violence, criminality, and illicit influence have no place at all.
The Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences, University of Abuja, Mutliullah Olasupo, emphasized the need for intellectuals to empower the youth with knowledge of drug abuse for developmental progress. He cautioned youths against being used as instruments of electoral violence by political actors at the upcoming 2027 general elections.
Our message to the youth is to dissuade from all sorts of drug abuse, drug substance that can destroy their life and destroy the society.
As the preparation for 2027 general elections continue, tackling drug abuse, strengthening institutions, and investing in Nigeria's youth remains the key to safeguarding Nigeria's democracy. Saadatu Garba, Global TV News.
Well, joining us right now is our correspondent Saadatu to bring us up to speed on how this will help the minds of the youths ahead of 2027 general election. Hello, Saadatu. It's good to have you join me on the reporter today. How have you been?
Hello, Anita. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I've been good, and you?
Great. So let's get to this. As Nigeria prepares for the 2027 general elections, are electoral reforms and stronger institutions enough to guarantee free, fair and violence-free elections, or is it more required to look at all of these things put in place?
Okay, so I believe that electoral reforms and also stronger institutions, they will definitely help reduce electoral malpractice, but it cannot guarantee complete reform of the electoral system, because whether we like it or not, electoral malpractice goes way deeper than we think. It goes way back. So with these reforms, definitely these institutions, they can aid in reducing something, but it's not something that can happen by the next general election or the later one. It's something that has to happen for a long time before everything is covered. And also the people that are going to be in those institutions, the people that are going to be in charge of the electoral reform, are they good people and are they not easily corrupted? So these things have to be looked into before we can say that Nigeria's election can be free and fair. definitely, because Nigeria is the only country we have. So with good leadership, we can get to places that we can never imagine. So I believe that it cannot really guarantee much, but something can happen. Something can definitely be reduced when it comes to the electoral system.
I see you're talking about baby steps, which is one of the steps we've taken right now, talking to the young minds and seeing how this can actually help improve the system, because of course we need the minds of the younger generation to be on track and to understand what the electoral violence impacts can be on the nation Nigeria. Like you mentioned, we just have one nation called Nigeria, and we need to guide it generously to ensure that we have the best. But let's come back to the issues and issues around young minds. With drug abuse increasingly linked to electoral violence, what practical steps should government, political parties, schools, families, and communities take to prevent young people from being used as political thugs? Because an idle mind, of course, like they say, is the devil's workshop, and of course they tend to go into that drug abuse and become tools of violence.
Okay, so I believe that government should establish more rehabilitation centers, because our youth, over 40% of our youths now are engaging in drug abuse, and drug abuse impairs the mental state basically. So they are easily susceptible to getting recruited by political thugs, politicians, political actors basically, that are so desperate to get voted in. So what governments can do, and even families, and also sensitization campaigns across the country, just like the conference that I went to yesterday, more campaigns like this, more conferences should be put in place in every state of the country to ensure that our youths are being sensitized when it comes to the effects of drug abuse, because it is a menace in our society. It is affecting a lot of things, and it is affecting the future of the youth, because with bad leadership, with electing wrong people, their future is not going to be bright. And with the use of drug abuse, it is going to enable them to engage in the wrong activity, especially when it comes to causing ruckus at the polling units, when it comes to stealing ballot boxes and many more things. So it is very important for government and private and even families to ensure that their children, their relatives are educated on the effects, on the negative effects of drug abuse to them and also to the society at large and to Nigeria generally. Thank you.
Let's not in on this particular subject matter, and we hope that the young minds will pick up from this and ensure that the electoral process is seamless. Thank you so much, Saadatu, for the update.
Thank you, Anita.
Well, let's turn our focus to Imo State, where the Imo State Police Command has intensified its crackdown on violent crimes, arresting 184 suspects for kidnapping, terrorism, armed robbery, and other offenses within the last 2 months. Commissioner of Police in Imo State, Audu Boso, made this known while addressing journalists on the operational activities of the command in the last 2 months. Our correspondent, Amarachi Ibe, has more.
The Commissioner of Police in Imo State, Audu Garuba Bose, says sustained intelligence-led operations have yielded major breakthrough in the fight against criminality across the state. He reveals that the arrest of 2 suspected kidnap kingpin led operative to a criminal hideout in the Ebema Rivers Creek, where 7 additional suspects were apprehended and more weapons recovered.
It will be recalled that on 30 June 2026, the command successfully rescued a kidnapped victim in Ebema, who was abducted on 27 June 2026 by the same kidnapping syndicate. Intelligence obtained from rescue operation, the subsequent arrest of kingpins, and their confessional statements led operative to the suspect hideout, culminating in the latest operation. During the operation, the camp was successfully dislodged and 7 additional suspects were arrested. During the operation, the command recovered 1 AK-47 rifle, 4 AK-47 magazines, 16 rounds of 7.62 mm ammunition, 3 locally made cut-to-size gun, 16 live cartridges, 1 empty Beretta magazine, 20 rounds of GPMG ammunition, 1 human skull, and assorted criminal charms.
The Commissioner of Police further says A follow-up operations at the Obiapo swamp uncover more ammunition, while investigations link members of the gang to the killing of 2 personnel of the Imo State Home Security outfit. The command also announced the arrest of 2 suspects in 2 separate sexual offense cases involving minors in Osu and Ngobala local government areas.
Acting on credible intelligence, operatives of the Imo State Police Command stormed the Obiaku swamps in Ohaji Egbema local government area, where they recovered an additional catch of 346 rounds of live ammunition, comprising 122 rounds of AK ammunition, 148 rounds of M16 rifle ammunition, and 76 rounds of 96 Beretta pistol ammunition. The operative also recovered 7 magazines comprising 4 AK-47 rifle magazine and 3 M16 rifle magazines, respectively.
CP Bose urges residents to continue providing timely and credible information to security agencies, stressing that public support remains vital in sustaining the fight against crime in the state. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, Global TV News.
All right, of course, we see what it is like with criminality there in Imo State, and of course, the State Police Command is not even resting on its oars to ensure that they deliver on the mandate to safety for the citizens in Imo State. Well, that brings us to the size of the program. The reporter, thank you for watching. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV, channel 365, Star Times, channel 276, as well as on Free TV. To stay connected always, kindly follow us across all socials using @Global TV NG. I am Anieti Patrick. Thank you for watching.
Be mindful of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life. Water is an essential service. And we must have to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the